Welcome. My name is Sarah. I'm a women's sexuality coach, and today I'm going to be talking to you about what is actually coaching, how might it get you the results that you really want, and yeah, is it just really about me trying to sell you something? Which it's not, by the way, but I'm just going to talk about that because there might be some hesitations. And I want to let you know that I'm going to be hosting free 45-minute discovery calls next week. So if this is something you're curious about, then I'm going to invite you into that and I'll drop the link below. So, if you are here, let us know that you are watching, and if you are catching the replay, hashtag replay in the comments. So, coaching. First of all, I just want to start more with a personal story, right? Because I really struggled with my libido and in my sexuality. And I got a coach after I separated from my previous partner. And it was so helpful to have somebody right there with me, helping me through what was a really challenging time. And that particular time ended up completely flourishing into a period of such growth and development for me. And yeah, having somebody there to help guide me in that process was really invaluable. So, in terms of the area that I specifically work with, I work with women and I work with couples for couples intimacy coaching. Now, for women specifically, I look at them helping themselves, right? Because we actually work together, we're a team. So it's like, I'm not here to try and fix you or change you in any way. It's more that you have everything inside of you that you already need, right? You have the ability to heal yourself, and having somebody else to guide and hold space for that allows that to reveal itself, or for you to remember that often sooner and quicker with more support, especially when it feels really scary. So, the areas that I work with specifically with women is around emotions and processing and working with those things like anxiety, finding inner power and inner confidence. So, for women to really lean in and be visible and move towards what they really want in their life, and of course in their sexuality. And our confidence and what we want in our life is not separate from actually how we feel inside of our bodies. So, in terms of how you feel inside of your own skin, how comfortable you are with how your body looks, how like sexy and alive you feel inside of your body, they all influence and are interconnected. And then more specifically, it can be things like a woman not. I'm just trying to use some code word, getting to their ultimate state of pleasure with a partner or on their own. So maybe that's something they're exploring. Perhaps it's communication in the bedroom. They're not feeling like they're able to really speak up their needs and what they really want. Maybe it's low libido. Maybe it's a difference in libido between partners. Maybe they're worried that their partner's not right for them. Maybe they're hung up on a previous partner. So these are things that we can start to work with in the sexuality journey to essentially bring you more pleasure. And I talk about pleasure in a broad sense in terms of sexual pleasure and non-sexual pleasure. So it's really about awakening all of life, right? And pleasure is the bridge in between your everyday experience and what happens in the bedroom and your sexuality. So pleasure can fit into both of those categories. And when you're feeling more pleasure in the bedroom, you feel more alive, connected, open, confident in everyday life, and then vice versa. So it's an amazing energy, this life force energy that we have potential to tap into. And it's very much all related into self-love, okay, and self-care and just feeling good, right? Some women are also looking for the love of their life, and they want to work through some previous relationship patterns that are holding them back, or they're not sure why they're not finding or attracting the right partner. So that's also things that I help women with. So what is coaching, right? So coaching is having somebody right there, like your biggest cheerleader, to walk you through your emotions, your thoughts, and go deeper into your inner journey, right? Your inner journey and connection to self. Ultimately, what this is leading you to is results. So there's not much point doing all this inner work but not seeing anything change on the outside. And perhaps you've been frustrated by that in the past, or you haven't seen the results that you would really want in your life. So coaching, the coach's job, my job, is to hold the role of your results and making sure that you feel good about working towards them, you have the right tools, and that eventually you will absolutely get there if you keep working the same tools and following the same strategy, because it's inevitable, right? You're always moving towards something. And in coaching, it helps direct and focus exactly what you're moving towards, so you get there quicker, right, and easier with way more support, and reveal things about yourself that perhaps you didn't even know about yourself. So coaching is for if you are struggling with something, but also if you're not struggling with anything at all and you just want life to be even better, right, and expand your edges of capacity of what's possible. I have a coach now. I would always recommend, if you're working with a coach, to work with someone who also has a coach, because that just makes sense, right? But I've been working with him for 1.5 years, and yeah, there have been times where life's been really hard and it's been so nice to have that emotional support. And then other times where life is just amazing and it's going so well. And then I get to push my edges and find things about myself that I didn't even know were perhaps in there. Or I can expand my depth of self-love or self-confidence, right? Or move towards things that I didn't even know were possible to start to move towards. So coaching is for everybody. It's so beneficial. And I think traditionally, health and well-being, or focusing on your emotions or feelings, hasn't been something that has been valued or worth that kind of investing in. So I was talking to my dad the other day, and he was like, yeah, I don't understand kind of like health and wellness. Like, what is that even about? And I think we can see such a strong shift just in one generation of what we're starting to value in society, and what's really important. And for me personally, I know that I would much rather have really supportive and connective relationships, feel really confident and good in my own body and my own skin, and be happy, than I would necessarily being super productive, or working super hard at something. So both are always needed and valuable, but I think there's a greater emergence of mental health, and getting the most out of life, because we only have one life. So if you get to the end of your life and you look back and you think, okay, where did I put my time, my money, my energy? Investing in yourself is always going to be the best investment, right? You can't mess it up if you're investing in yourself, because you are with you always, and what's going on inside of you and your capacity is what you are able to use or able to share with the world, or the amount of love that you're able to give and receive. Like, it's kind of intangible, but it's so important, because it's actually what really matters in life, right? And sometimes we get caught up in other things being really important, but this is really the heart of it, right? Is having a more fulfilling life. And then you can see how this starts to overflow into all areas of your life. So once you start feeling happier and more connected in your body, you'll start to see your relationships change, your sexuality change. If you're in a business or a workplace, you might start to see that start to expand and more opportunities come in. So it's like a run-on effect. If it's always going in the right way that you want it to go, it's always going to be beneficial. And then a coach is the support in that. So when you enter into a coaching relationship, you don't have to worry about, thinking about your coach and, helping them out. Or it's like a full 1.5 hours. I work with my clients for 1.5 hours. So it's a full 1.5 hour session focused on you, right? And you getting the support that you need. And how often do you get that in life? Like, never. Right? So yeah, It's also pretty similar to therapy, but if you've had some therapy, but there are definitely some differences in coaching and specifically how I coach, which is for another video. But yeah, I work with the mind, body. So I'm not just focused on the past and what happened, but I'm really focused on what's here and now, your patterns, and actually getting results and moving forward into the future. So yeah, you can feel really excited about your pathway. And then, so why would you get a coach? Because I totally recognize that it's an investment. So it's an investment of money, of time, of energy. And my question to you is like, how important are your results, right? Or how important is the things to you that matter most in your life? And what would you be willing to do or put on the line to have that actualize? And this is a really important question of what is the risk if you don't really lean into this journey, right? And perhaps don't get support at a time that would be really valuable for you or your relationship. I know that with some clients, it's like there's some pretty big consequences. Like it could mean that they're separating with their partner. It could ultimately mean like not getting the job that you want or having panic attacks all the time and feeling like you can't go out in social situations. So there is also a risk of not entering into your own growth journey. And of course, if you're already on the path of personal growth, then you will get there on your own, right? Like, you will probably find ways, and if you're really committed into the process, like, and you have the right tools, then you will start to uncover what it is that you need to uncover. But having a coach is like, man, I've learned so many more tools. Like, I've learned tools where I can now identify all my triggers and what is happening and process them in real time. So, one of my strengths is processing emotion, which is why I love being a coach. But it has helped me so many times, particularly in my romantic relationship, where it could have just escalated into a big fight, and instead it de escalated and it turned into this opportunity for connection. So it's like the risk of not having these tools or not having that support is, for me personally, is high, and I know for some of my clients it's really high. So yeah, the way that I hold space is like I'm just here to empower you in your own growth journey, and I actually like I guide and I hold space, but I also follow exactly where you want to go. And then right when you need the right tool at the right time, I'm here to offer that to you. So you can think it like maybe if you had a personal trainer because you wanted to work out your body, or you wanted to hire somebody to do your accounts because you don't know how to, like, you don't want to think about doing your finances. It's just like hiring somebody who specializes in this, but in terms of emotions and mentality and love of your body. And it's like, wow, that's just an amazing investment for me, I think. And I haven't always been like that. There was definitely resistance of like, well, I don't need a coach. I can do that on my own, or I don't want to spend money on that. Like, that seems like a waste of money. But having had a coach myself for so long and then being a coach myself, it's like I can't even imagine where some of my clients might be if they didn't have this, and also just celebrating where they are now. So, some examples of where my clients are at is like one of my clients, we just finished working together. She feels more connected to her partner than ever. And when she came in, there was like a lot of disconnect. Communication wasn't flowing. She wasn't feeling the full spectrum of pleasure in the bedroom. She didn't feel like her needs were being met. And now she's able to lean into her emotions. So she's able to show up for her partnership way better. She feels way more pleasure. She's speaking up in the bedroom with exactly what she needs. Yeah, she's rewiring her patterns of avoidance, or and not having to have like lengthy conversations long into the night or unnecessary fights. So it's just so good. Another client, her libido, just in one session, her libido jumped from a 3 out of 10 to a 7 out of 10. And then the next session she came back, she was expressing how she was making love to her partner, and how beautiful it was and how connective. And when your sexual relationship is strong, everything else in your relationship is also generally pretty strong. Like, they influence one another, so you'll fight less and you'll feel more supported and more open and expansive towards each other. Yeah, another client moved from a 1 out of 10 to a 10 out of 10 in terms of her capacity to reach climax with her partner. And so we just looked at her mindset and her mentality and reframed things. And she's well on her way right now to experiencing way more pleasure in her body with her partner. So another one is, really looking at her deep inner power, being seen, being visible. Another one was posting way more on social media for her business, and so her business presence started to increase. Another one let go of old patterns, relationship patterns. She was really hung up on her ex-partner. She was able to let that go, and now she's actually right in the process of meeting somebody and matching on a completely different vibration, so calling in the dream partner that she's always wanted. There's just so many examples, right, of what we could lean into and expand into. So the last question is more like, am I going to sell you something? Is this something that's going to feel icky? And my question is like, no, because I don't like working out of alignment. So when we have the discovery call, the 45-minute free call, it's as much about you sussing me out as it is about me sussing you out as well. And essentially what we're looking for is a match. So a vibrational match. And you also need to know that you can trust me. So you need to believe that I can help get you the results that you really want, that are most important to you in your life. And if you do think that, if you do trust me, then there's also a process of you trusting yourself and leaning into this process and making the decision and making the commitment to come into this work. And then trusting you're going to get the results, exactly what you need. And just making that decision, or that one step, first of all for the discovery call and then into coaching, you're going to probably go through a whole range of emotions in terms of making that decision. So the coaching actually starts almost now, before we even start working together. And once you do make that decision though, to work together, I'm so right there to hold you. Like, I am right there and I'm going to guide you through it from that moment on. And that's not to say that you're going to be disempowered or you're not driving the process, because you are, because we're focused on you and your results. But I'm holding you in this. So you don't have to hold it on your own, right? It's just so good. So my job is to help you feel into what is right inside of your body. Because ultimately, if it doesn't feel right for you, then we're not going to get the results that you want. And so that's not good for me either, right? It doesn't feel good as a coach. So it's my job to help you make a decision that is in alignment with your highest good. It's also my job, because I am your coach, to question and challenge you on anything that's getting in the way of your highest good. So if you decided during or after the discovery call that, coaching is something that you really do want, but you're having some hesitations that get in the way, then my job is also to coach you on that and say, hey, like, the hesitation of money, like, let's talk about money. Let's talk about your relationship with money. Let's talk about what, do you trust yourself to get ultimately what you want? Because if you trust yourself, then you'll find the money from somewhere. Even if you don't have it, you'll save up. I've had women in discovery calls who are like, I can't do it right now, but in a year's time, I'm going to work with you. And it's like, great, like, that's welcome. That's like really encouraged and to be celebrated. I will challenge you on some patterns, but in a very loving and caring way. Because generally what you're looking for in a coach is someone to be like loving and open and with you, right? And also hold you accountable to your highest good and what you really want. And then that's when magic happens. So I am going to be launching discovery calls next week. So free calls. If you're thinking that coaching is something you're curious about, even if you're on the fence or you don't really understand all of it, or I give you full permission to sign up for the call anyway. and just see how it goes, see how you feel. Um, and you don't have to make a decision on the call either. You can take time to process and think about it. And then we'll go from there and look at packages and pricing um, and getting you essentially what you really, really want. Because that's why we're here. Like, that's why I do my job. That's why people hire me. That's why you're curious to hire me. Right. So, wishing you a beautiful rest of your day or your evening from here. Make sure you check out the link into either my Facebook group or I might even drop the link early into the Discovery Calls. You never know. But yeah, if you are here, just celebrating you and wishing you a great day. Mwah.